Maxerd2 says, if some friend of yours would rob a bank and offer you $1 million to get rid of the money, and the case is that the police have no way of tracking the money and no one would suspect a thing that it is stolen money, would you accept it? Okay, now the thing is, wait, get rid of the money. Okay, so I guess by getting rid of the money, you're destroying it. Well, I think basically at that point the damage is done. You've increased the insurance rates of that bank and probably all banks, and they're going to charge us slightly higher fees all across the United States. Basically, every time that there's a lawsuit that occurs or there's a theft that goes on, it basically makes it just a tiny bit worse for everyone. Just very, very small, like pennies. That's how insurance and all that works. Basically, everyone pays to undo the harm that one or several people can cause. Now, so since the damage is already done, and if by this guarantee there would be no risk for me, then I don't see why I wouldn't accept it. I'd be worried about my friend almost more than depending on which friend, I'd probably be more concerned with my friend and whatever would help my friend out the most than the $1 million itself, because $1 million is really nice and you can do a lot of wonderful things with it, but money isn't everything, essentially. But yeah, I mean, if somehow the friend was okay, or I couldn't help the friend, and also have to put the $1 million at risk, then yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't keep it, because the damage is done, unless I could return it or something. Cool Alex 5364 says, "Hey Armageddon X, have you tried the game Dragon Age Origins? PC, of course. It seems like your slice of pie. Would you ever consider doing an LP of it? I have tried to avoid that game as best as I possibly can. There is a certain subset of my viewers that go fanatic on certain games, such as Lord of the Ring Conquest, Empire Total War. There's so many of them. I can't remember all of them right now, but there's Modern Warfare 2. But yeah, they go fanatic for these games, and as soon as I see them start going fanatic for these type of games, I think, not gonna play that one. So yeah, I am going to stay back from that one. That one, not interested. No. Madoff4 says, well, I mean, if you think about it, not that interested in Oblivion. And Oblivion and Dragon Age Origins, well, of course, they're a different game, but they seem to be on par. I mean, similar scope. They're different, I know they are. But there's similarities that I think are the same similarities why I didn't like Oblivion that much. I thought it was okay, but and compared to how much people love it, I think it's way overrated. And same thing with Dragon Age Origins. Madoff4 says, do you feel like being overly analytical can be a character flaw or a desirable trait? Both, obviously. I mean, that seems like a pretty understandable answer for that. Can it be a character flaw? Absolutely. If you are trying to overanalyze things, well, here's the thing. I guess it will never be a desirable trait for it to be over analytical. You want to be analytical, but just analytical enough. As soon as it becomes overly analytical, it's a character flaw. Now, to define when enough analysis is done, then based on that definition, you can define whether you're being overly or underly analytical. So I believe that the general trend of the United States, in particular, is not analyzing things enough, especially on an individual basis. Madoff4 also asks, do you think getting a computer science degree is valuable in today's economy? I hope so. If not, what degree in related field would be better? I'm thinking energy technology. That's my guess. I'm thinking energy technology is going to probably be a major developing thing in the future. All of the, I mean, like if you did research on algae fossil fuel, that I think would make you basically a very valuable asset to a great number of companies. Madoff4 says, can you be more specific about what type of work you do? I make sure that organic foods do not have pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, or one other one I can't remember. And if it is not organic foods, then I make sure that however many herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, etc. that are in it are within legal limits. That is my job. Madoff4 says, World of Warcraft or EVE Online. Definitely World of Warcraft. It's a much better game. It's the best MMO out in the world, and there's a lot of ones that are almost as good. But there's nothing that takes World of Warcraft's thunder away. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, you haven't played until you played, I mean, you haven't lived until you played this game. And it's like, yeah, it's almost as good as World of Warcraft. The thing with World of Warcraft, or a lot of MMOs, is it's all based on achievements and scope. And there is no game with a greater scope than World of Warcraft. None. That is the largest scope of any game. I mean, there are literally worlds. I think I calculated out like the base World of Warcraft that includes Azeroth and Kalimdor, or Eastern Kingdoms, whatever it's called. That base world, I think, is like a 1 to 20 on Earth or something like that. So it's 1/20th the size. I can't remember exactly what the figure is, but it was ridiculously large. And you could actually walk the continents foot after foot and realize just how big. No, I don't think it was 1 to 200 or 1 to 20. Yeah, it was very small, but it was still giant compared to any other game out there. I mean, there are games with probably a greater amount of land space, but nothing with each a unique entity in every single spot. There's no genericness from one location to another, and then that's only one world. There's also Outlands. That's now. I haven't played it for a year and a half. Anyway, so there's just so much expanse in that game. So until a game steps away from having to be an achievement system, essentially, I hope you understand what that means. MMOs will always be trailing behind World of Warcraft, because I don't think that another game company out there is going to be able to create a greater scope than World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft's already out there. It already exists. How many DVDs now? Like 7? They're not going to beat it. So what I think they need to do is they need to start coming out with MMOs that require greater amounts of skill. Now, that means they're going to already immediately get a smaller portion of the market, because as soon as you start requiring more skill, you're going to have all of the casual gamers leave. They're not going to play. You're only going to get core gamers that, when I mean casual gamers, I mean people that really should only own a Wii. People that only should own a Nintendo Wii can get into World of Warcraft, and they're okay. But if you get something that requires a lot of skill, like something with a crosshair, where if your crosshair's not on them, you miss, that immediately knocks out, I'd say, at least 2/3 of the people that play World of Warcraft. So it's not going to become a greater in popularity than World of Warcraft, but it will become very loved and possibly a better game. So that's the thing. Which one's more important, making money or making a good game? So,